Okay, so I have found this lovely light olive for the cowl and wings. It's going to be cut and fold, so I'll have to find a nice big piece for this. And then for the sleeves and the main body pieces, I have this lovely stretch velvet. Now with stretch velvet, or any velvet, you have to be careful of the nap. If you don't have the nap going all in the same direction, it'll catch the light differently and it'll look wonky. So I want the nap running down the dress instead of up the dress. So I'm going to have all of the pieces cut like this. So now I have all of my pattern pieces cut. I'm just gotta start sewing them together. Oh, hi! How are you doing? Good look at the camera? Hi. Yeah? What's up? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to seal the edges of the cape with fire so that they don't fray, as they're starting to do right here. So now that I have the cape piece bit, I'm just going to do some prep work before I start sewing it. So I'm going to take this dart out, but first things first, I'm going to get some of this fabric and run it through my machine to make sure that it is correct and not going to damage my fabric. This is a 4-thread overlock stitch. Take that dart right out. And the next step should be to hem this, but I think I'm going to leave it raw, and I will show you why. This is a knit fabric, which means it doesn't like fraying. So if you take this fabric, and see this is the raw edge, and you pull on it, it doesn't come apart. So I'm not going to hem this because I think the hem would just cause this fabric to be too bulky on the scale that we're working in. Okay, the next step is to discuss how we're going to put together the dress. It has to be put together in a specific order, otherwise it won't work, and I have yet to discover what that specific order is. Going back to the sketch, and we have these center seams right here and the center back seams. So we know that we have to have the center front before we put this over the shoulders. And we also know that we have to sew this into the back seam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the center front, find the markings on from the pattern, and align the shoulders, and I'm going to tack them down with, I'm not sure if that's going to be with pins or with basting stitches, but I'm going to tack them down, and then I'm going to sew the cowl into these seams, and then I'm going to sew the shoulder seams, and then I'm going to sew the sleeve in, and then I'm going to sew the sleeve and the side seam all in one go, instead of doing a set-in sleeve like I did on the mock-up. Okay, that's my plan. Let's get her done. So I said I was going to sew center front and the side front pieces together first. Now, I just had a thought, and that is that unlike a human head, the neckline and the head are pretty proportional, but on my doll, her head is way bigger, so I have to have a slit up center back to get this dress on and off the doll. So we'll come to that next. So when you're designing and everything, you just have to be prepared to make changes as you go. So I'm just going to make sure that this, I'm going to cut a rectangle to act as a placket so that the dress will close evenly in the back. So I'm just going to make sure that the stretch is in the same direction as the dress. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it. I'm just going to cut a rectangle out. When we sew this on, we're going to sew it on the outside, like this. Make sure the nap is going in the same direction. We don't want any confusion. We're going to go like this. Don't tell me I haven't been recording any of that. Well, that would stink if I hadn't been recording any of that. Okay, so just in case that wasn't recording, which probably wasn't, what I did is I sewed a facing to the center back so that I can get the doll's head through when I dress and undress her. And now I have the cowl sewn to the back panel, and I'm just going to finish sewing up the back panel by attaching the side seams.
So during this last couple of clips, I just finished up sewing the back of the dress together. I added the side panel, and then I sewed the sleeve to the arm's eye, and then I zipped up the side seam. And then when I was done with that, I added the closures to the back of the dress with just simple hook and eyes. And that's the last of it, and I have some pictures of the final garment. So if you have any questions on how this was made, I'm sorry that a lot of the footage was lost. But if you have any questions of how this is made, or if you have a personal project that you're like, what am I supposed to do? Just leave a comment below and I'll answer it as best as I can. And if it's something I think a lot of people have a problem with, I'll make a video out of it. And thanks for watching this video and following me on my first feature-length project. And I hope you follow me on my next ones. Thanks. Bye-bye.
What do you think? Uh-huh. Is that right? Anything else you want to say? Yeah? Nothing? You go away.